Welcome to the InnoGuide podcast. I'm your host, Bob Boudelier. This podcast, my website, and my weekly newsletter all focus on bringing you the secrets of innovation. Since I don't want to rely on paid ads, we want to thank our customers who subscribe to our AI Fusion Kickstarter program and those who leverage AI Fusion coaching to bring human-centered AI into their organizations. You can find us at www.innoguide.net. In this episode, number 57, we'll be continuing How to Think with AI by Alison McCauley. Without further ado, please enjoy episode 57, How to Think with AI. Welcome to the InnoGuide podcast, where we share the works of authors and mentors to guide innovation. Let's get started. Picking up from Chapter 9, A Cognitive Revolution Beyond Human Imagination. Let's rewind to April 1826. Imagine mobs of angry workers, sometimes as many as 3,000, storming textile mills with axes and pikes. Their target? The new power looms. These machines could pump out textiles faster and cheaper than any human hand. But to the weavers who saw their livelihoods vanish overnight, these looms weren't marvels of efficiency. They were enemies. They rioted, hoping to smash the machines that threatened their ability to feed their families. It didn't work. That moment, known as the Power Loom Riots, was part of a bigger wave we now call the Industrial Revolution. At the time, though, no one was labeling it so neatly. People just felt the fallout: lost jobs, forced moves from the farm to the city, crime spikes, and disruption to the rhythms of daily life. To us today, the Industrial Revolution looks inevitable, almost choreographed. Steam engines, railroads, factories, one invention leading to the next, but living through it, it was chaos. Change wasn't experienced as progress, it was experienced as crisis, one personal upheaval at a time. And here's the parallel. We're in just such a moment again. That was a revolution of mechanical efficiency. This is a revolution of cognitive efficiency. Just like machines made it possible to do more physical work with less effort, AI now lets us extend our thinking power in ways we've never seen before. This doesn't mean the ride will be smooth. It will be bumpy, unpredictable, often unsettling. Some jobs will vanish, others will morph, and whole new roles will appear. It's happening fast, and our brains aren't very good at seeing exponential change as it unfolds. We catch glimpses, the job posting that suddenly disappears, a new tool replacing a task we trained years for, but we struggle to piece those fragments together into the bigger story until after it's already clear. We've been here before. During the early internet days, remember all the so-called failed ideas? Pets.com, Cosmo.com, even grocery delivery company Webvan, they all collapsed in the dot-com bust. Headlines declared, "See, the internet was a fad." Fast forward 20 years and grocery trucks, meal kits, Amazon vans, they're everywhere. As venture capitalist Mark Andreessen said, there are no bad ideas, just early ones. The same pattern applies to AI. Yes, it looks glitchy. Yes, chatbots hallucinate and image generators make six-fingered hands. But short-term stumbles don't mean it's going nowhere. In fact, Amara's law captures this perfectly. We overestimate technology in the short term, but we massively underestimate it in the long run. Remember the infamous 1995 Newsweek article that dismissed the web? The author mocked online shopping as nonsense. No one would buy books or newspapers on the internet, he argued. Who'd want to read on a clunky laptop? He insisted no online network would replace classrooms or town halls. He couldn't picture the world we live in now. It's a humbling reminder of just how hard it is to imagine the future when technology is young and messy. Now look at AI. Adoption rates already dwarf the early internet. A Federal Reserve study found nearly 40% of adults have used AI. Compare that with the internet's crawl to 20% adoption over 2 years. And we're still so early. Most companies haven't even touched their own data with AI yet. Most people have barely scratched the surface of weaving it into daily life. When businesses figure this out and entrepreneurs build whole new ecosystems around it, expect a rush bigger than the smartphone boom. And this technology is improving at breakneck speed. Large language models aren't just following Moore's law, they're outpacing it. The compute power needed to reach new milestones is halving every 5 to 14 months. That's breathtaking acceleration. Every time you try AI and think, well, this isn't perfect, remember, what you're using now is still the worst AI you'll ever use. Next month's will be better, next year's better still. So where does that leave us? Right where the weavers once stood, staring at machines that feel threatening, confusing, sometimes underwhelming, and yet are about to rewrite the rules of everything, except this time the machines aren't just weaving cloth, they're extending human cognition itself. Here's my nudge for you. Don't wait for AI to come neatly packaged with user manuals and polished apps. That may take years. Instead, think like an early adopter. Pick one area of your work or personal life that feels tedious or overwhelming, maybe organizing notes, summarizing documents, or planning a project, and bring AI into it. Notice the quirks, work through the clunky parts, but stay focused on what's possible, not just what's polished. Because getting your hands on these tools early is how you'll build the muscles others will still be scrambling to develop when the revolution becomes obvious. Chapter 10: How to Think with AI. So let's talk about what separates the folks who are really thriving with AI from everyone else. Lots of people are still dabbling, using these tools for one-off tasks like drafting a tricky email or maybe helping plan a trip. But the real difference makers, the early adopters, have gone a step further. They've woven AI into the fabric of their everyday lives. They don't see it as a toy, they see it as a genuine thought partner. And because of that, they're seeing results day after day. That question nagged at me. What exactly are they doing differently? How do they unlock deeper collaboration with machines? How do they fold these tools into their problem-solving and decision-making in ways that make it stick? To find out, about a year ago, I set off on a mission. I interviewed executives, middle managers, freelancers, people in all kinds of industries. Despite wildly different backgrounds, they had one thing in common: high AIQ, the ability to think with AI, and they were hitting breakthrough after breakthrough. At first I thought maybe all we need to do is copy their habits, but that experiment didn't work. Why? Because early adopters thrive on the chaos. They churn through buggy software, chase every new release, and tolerate all the glitches that come with cutting-edge tools. That approach overwhelmed most newcomers I worked with. What people needed was direction, something structured enough to guide them quickly toward meaningful applications of AI without the endless frustration. And that's where the A3 framework was born. It distills everything down to 3 steps, the path to building your AIQ. Step 1, activate. This is about purposeful exploration, expanding your understanding of AI's potential. Play, poke around, but with intention. Don't just ask it to write a limerick, ask it how it could support the challenges you actually face. Step 2, align. Once you know some of what AI can do, match those capabilities to your goals. Iterate quickly. Try it against work that actually matters to you, drafting a client strategy, rethinking a volunteer program, organizing family logistics. This is where the real aha moments begin. Step 3, amplify. This is the magic step. Once you've aligned AI to your needs, it's time to integrate these practices into your daily routines. That's where you start to see compounding benefits over time. The small lifts add up until you look back and realize you've transformed how you think and work. Together, these steps turn AI from a novelty into a trusted resource, and your AIQ isn't just about tech proficiency. It's a measure of your increased creative capacity, sharper problem solving, and greater professional impact. And here's a fun footnote to the name. A3 isn't just 3 steps. During my research, people kept telling me things like, I can do in 1 hour what used to take 3, or I'm generating 3 times as many ideas. The name is also a nod to Toyota's A3 methodology. Decades ago, that system sparked a culture of continuous improvement. My framework borrows that spirit, but now it's about continuous improvement in our ability to collaborate with AI. The important thing to remember is that we're all AI newbies. Everyone, CEOs, software engineers, teachers, parents, we're all trying to figure this out at the same time. Yes, there's a tidal wave of advice and tricks online, which can get overwhelming fast. That's why I've curated resources and exercises on my site, thinkwithai.org, to help you cut through the noise and focus your learning journey. The reason to start now is that learning compounds. But those who lean in today, quirks and all, will reap bigger advantages tomorrow as the tech evolves. The version you use today is the worst it will ever be. Every update improves it. So by experimenting now, you're building the muscle memory to stay ahead as the curve steepens. Before I walk you deeper into the framework itself in Chapter 13 through 15, I'll set you up with some key principles. In the next few chapters, we'll look at how AI changes our relationship with software and how to communicate with it effectively so you really do discover its magic. So here's my nudge for you. Think about where you sit on this AIQ path. Are you just activating, still playing around? Have you started to align the tools with real needs? Or are you beginning to amplify, weaving them into daily routines? Name where you are. Once you know that, you can take the very next step forward. That tiny shift is how beginners become pros and how you too can start to think with AI. Chapter 11. It's time to rethink your relationship with software. Here's something worth pausing on. Interacting with today's AI isn't like using any other software we've ever encountered. It's not Excel, it's not Salesforce, it's not your banking app. AI feels messy, unpredictable, even strangely human at times. And that's exactly why it's so powerful. In traditional software, the rules were fixed. You clicked the button, you got the same result every single time. It was tidy, controlled, and predictable. AI, not so much. Ask it the same question twice, you might get two different answers. You'll probably get two different answers. Sometimes it'll impress you with brilliance, other times it'll frustrate you with a hallucination, those confident but completely fabricated answers that it delivers with a straight face. That unpredictability makes it tough to jam into our neat corporate processes, but it's also what turns it into a thoughtful partner rather than just a calculator. I like to call this the AI paradox. It fails at being great traditional software, but that failure is what unlocks its superpowers for creativity, reasoning, and collaboration. And if you've played with AI long enough, you may have noticed how human it can feel, almost like it has moods. Sometimes it's sharp, other times a little fuzzy, like a teenager in my house who communicates better on certain days than others. And just like with people, if you coax it, negotiate a little, or coach it, you'll get better results. That's a completely new experience of software. So the question becomes, what is it? It's not a human. It's not just math and code either. Even AI pioneers scramble for metaphors. Some compare it to fire or electricity. Others, like Mustafa Suleyman, call it a new kind of digital species because it sees like us, speaks like us, has memory, personality, even creativity. Wharton's Ethan Mollick describes it more like alien intelligence, not human, not better or worse, just fundamentally different. And Toshi Anders Hu calls it artificial intuition. Think about how intuition works. You get a gut sense based on years of experiences, sometimes right, sometimes wrong. Machine intuition is similar. It draws from vast data and recognizes patterns we can't, but without fully explaining why. Now, sometimes AI is less alien intelligence and more like a personal assistant. We're already seeing the rise of AI agents, little digital helpers that can book your flights, arrange a dinner reservation, monitor team Slack channels, send meeting invites, or handle routine customer service questions. They aren't making big strategic decisions yet, but they're already taking on everyday tasks. And as this space matures, we'll need new categories and language to describe the different roles AI plays, just like we have payroll software, email, or spreadsheets. Here's the big takeaway. We need to reframe our relationship with software itself. For decades, we've treated software as a passive tool we command. With AI, it's a relationship like friendships, colleagues, or partnerships in real life. You need to invest in it. That means experimenting, being curious, figuring out how it thinks, and even learning its blind spots. The more time and effort you put into shaping how you communicate with AI, the more it can give back to you. And just like human relationships, it takes patience to develop the rhythm. You'll try prompts that flop, you'll see mistakes. That doesn't mean it isn't working. It means you're still learning each other's language. So here's my nudge for you. Try treating AI less like a vending machine and more like a teammate. Instead of asking once and moving on, have a conversation. Ask follow-ups, rephrase your questions, challenge its answers, and see how it adapts. Notice the difference between give me a summary and give me a summary as if I were briefing my boss in 3 bullet points with examples she'll care about. That back and forth is how you start building your personal relationship with AI, and that's where the real breakthrough begins. Chapter 12. Working on your AI-human communication, from code to collaboration. Brace yourself. The very first move in raising your AI IQ, your ability to really think with AI, is learning how to talk to these systems. And yes, it's going to feel strange at first, but just like any meaningful human relationship, good communication is the foundation of productive outcomes. Surprisingly, the same principle applies to your relationship with AI. The better you communicate, the better your results. And here's the best part. You already speak AI. You don't need to take a coding class, memorize commands, or learn some secret language. AI was trained on our words, billions of them. So whether you're typing, talking, or even sharing visuals like sketches, photos, videos, you're already equipped to begin. The same English you use to text a friend or send a work email, that's your starting point. But if you've been online lately, you've probably seen the explosion of prompt engineering gurus offering magic formulas as if you're casting spells. Some of that can spark ideas, sure, but what actually works is much simpler. Treat AI like a conversation partner. Engage naturally, explore. If you need help midstream, you can even ask AI how to ask AI. It will guide you. So how do you form this productive conversation habit? This chapter gives us both the principles and the practical techniques. Let's start with the fundamentals. First, treat AI as a partner. Think of it as a teammate rather than a vending machine. You don't just accept its first draft and walk away. You shape, guide, and refine together. Give it feedback. Tell it when it missed the mark. Ask it to reframe. Share more samples or background documents. Be authentic, even emotional. I'll admit I've told AI I was feeling insecure about a presentation, and it came back with coaching that was surprisingly spot on. One client of mine dumped a stream of messy, jumbled thoughts into a chat and was amazed when AI organized it into a clear roadmap. The more context and honesty you provide, the better it can help you. Second, communicate naturally. These systems were trained on human conversation, so the more you write like yourself, the sharper its results. But unlike with people, you don't need to be polite. Clarity beats courtesy. Don't bury your requests in niceties. Just say what you want and set your expectations high. You can ask these tools to talk thoughtfully about advanced strategy or complex theories. You'll be surprised how far they can stretch. Third, tell AI who it is. One big reason folks get generic bland answers is because they never gave AI an identity. Pretend you're onboarding it as a new team member. Give it a role, a perspective, even a persona. Need marketing advice? Ask it to act as a scrappy startup founder. Preparing for a board meeting? Have it analyze your pitch from the perspective of each director in turn. Want feedback on a campaign? Ask it to step into the shoes of a single mom in Iowa who runs a franchise and dreams of being a musician. The more specific the identity, the more tailored and useful the responses become. Fourth, prepare for quirks. If you've been working with AI for a while, you've probably seen the oddities. Sometimes it argues it can't do something you know it can. Sometimes if you flatter it or even jokingly bribe it with hypothetical prizes, it will improve its answers. Researchers have found that scenarios as bizarre as framing math questions in a Star Trek episode or a political thriller makes it perform better. Sounds ridiculous, but it proves the point. Experiment with style, tone, and persona until you find what clicks for you. Expect mood swings. Expect different models to have personalities. And never forget, AI lies with confidence. Hallucinations happen. Always bring your critical mind to the table. Now, once you get those principles down, here are some practical prompting tactics to level up your results. Start by establishing context. Don't just say, help me with a marketing plan. Tell it your goal, your target audience, your past strategies. Even upload a slide deck. Share examples of your own voice. The more context, the sharper the output. Then, communicate clearly. Use bullet points, number your requests, set boundaries, replace vague language with explicit directions. Like with people, clarity avoids confusion. Next, align success criteria. Do you want a brief summary or a detailed report? Should it sound casual or academic? Should output be a table, a script, a list of next steps? Think about the format and tone that will be most useful for you and say it. Always break it down. When my kids were younger, I learned to give step-by-step instructions to avoid meltdowns. AI is the same. If you overwhelm it with a giant laundry list, expect chaos. Instead, ask it to think step by step, or tackle one piece of the problem at a time. Finally, iterate. Don't stop at round one. Push it, refine it, challenge it to improve. Ask what you missed. Start fresh if needed, but revisit successful chats too. Copy prompts that worked well and reuse them. The real breakthroughs come as you go back and forth, just as you would in a brainstorming session with a teammate. And the biggest point is this: AI already knows how to talk to you, and you already know how to talk to it. You just need to practice. So here's my nudge. This week, pick a project you care about, something real, not hypothetical. Start a conversation with AI, but instead of settling for the first answer, push it through at least 5 rounds of feedback. Be clear, give context, maybe even play with persona. At the end, ask yourself, were the results meaningfully better at round 5 versus round 1? My guess, you'll be surprised at how much more powerful conversation becomes once you stop treating AI as a one-shot tool and start treating it as a collaborator. Chapter 13. Step 1. Activate. Getting to know AI through the power of play. Here's where our journey really begins. Step 1 of the A3 framework is called Activate, and it's all about deepening your understanding of AI through play. And let me tell you, this part is supposed to be fun. We're not diving into thick manuals or fighting with complicated instructions. Instead, I'm inviting you to experiment, to get curious, and frankly to play around with AI like a kid who's just discovered a brand new toy. Why play? Think about how kids learn. It looks like just having fun, but what's really happening is powerful low-stakes learning. They experiment, they fail, they try again, and they pick up skills in the process. Adults aren't that different. Play frees us up to be imaginative, let go of expectations, and to stumble into those delightful aha discoveries. With AI, that playful mindset is essential because no one has the ultimate instruction book here, not even the experts. The best way to learn is to dive in. I actually started this book with a story about my own failed experiment to get my family on board by using play. The point wasn't that play doesn't work, but that how you play matters. In my research, I noticed early adopters naturally toyed with AI in quirky, almost chaotic ways, throwing in bizarre prompts, setting up funny challenges, asking it to do things no one had asked before. And sure enough, they could easily see connections between these oddball experiments and real-world impact. But for beginners, going in without focus can feel overwhelming or worse, discouraging. That's why I built something called the Play Lab. It's my way of giving just enough structure to your play so that you still feel free to explore and laugh at a few AI bloopers along the way, but you get to walk away with real insights. You can find it over at thinkingwithai.org/playlab. Pick a challenge set that matches the time you've got, maybe just 20 minutes, or choose one that fits your budget. Investing in the cost of a pizza unlocks some truly incredible tools. When you jump into these challenges, here's what you'll experience. First, you'll see how many different ways you can talk to AI. It's not just typing into a chat box anymore. You can have a full-on voice conversation, upload a photo of your dog, sketch something on a whiteboard, even get AI to generate art or data visualizations. In the Play Lab, I'll guide you through experimenting with these modes firsthand. Second, you'll get to test AI's ability with open-ended and creative tasks. Unlike the rigid software you're used to, AI has this uncanny ability to imagine. Whether you ask it to brainstorm, draft, design, or reframe a problem, it can surprise you. And sometimes, after a couple of laughable misfires, it can land on something so clever you can't help but stop and think, wait, that might actually work. That's the moment when the light bulb turns on. But let's be clear, the Play Lab itself is just a sampler. It's like a guided tour of possibilities. By the end, you'll appreciate AI in whole new ways, but you might still be asking yourself, okay, but how does this connect to my work, my life? And that's exactly where the next step comes in. After we get playful, we're going to move on to the next chapter, Align. That's where I'll help you bridge from playful curiosity to practical application, the part where you uncover how AI can genuinely serve you. So before you get too serious, give yourself permission to play. That's how you'll activate your AI journey. Chapter 14. Step 2. Align. Get AI to truly serve you. Now that you've had your first taste of playing with AI, it's time to shift gears into something deeper, getting AI to actually serve you. This chapter is all about that magical aha moment when you stop thinking of AI as just a cool tool and start seeing how it can truly add value in your everyday life. Think of it as moving from curiosity to clarity. The journey here has 2 stages. First, you focus your attention on a meaningful challenge. And then you experiment until you discover how AI can support you in a way that feels like a real breakthrough. Let's start with why this is even necessary. Traditional software has always been about fixed functions, clear, predictable tasks like tallying sales numbers or tracking project timelines. AI is different. It's not limited to a checklist of pre-programmed actions. It's fluid, open-ended, and when used right, it can flexibly respond to a range of goals, from the mundane to ones that require much more imaginative leaps. But that very flexibility is what makes it tricky. Without focus, people get overwhelmed or frustrated and walk away too soon. So I'll give you a process rooted in self-reflection. It feels more like journaling than coding. We start with some questions. Where are you feeling blocked? Which tasks drain your energy? What strengths could you amplify if you had more support? What aspirations have been gathering dust in your someday pile? By asking those questions, you aren't just making a to-do list. You're uncovering the raw material that will help AI serve you in a personalized and powerful way. Once you've laid out your needs, it's time to choose one challenge. And this part is important. Focus beats scattershot. If you choose multiple areas at once, you'll dilute the depth of discovery. But if you lock onto one, you're setting yourself up for that aha breakthrough. And here's my encouragement. Pick something just a little bit bold, a little bit beyond what you think AI can do. Don't just ask it to tidy up your inbox. Instead, stretch it with a more ambitious challenge where it needs to think with you. For example, one challenge I use throughout the book is, how could AI help me finally launch a successful vlog? Notice the question isn't small. It's got layers. To make it approachable, we break it down into sub-challenges. AI could help me identify my niche and audience. It could help me brainstorm a brand name. It could even help schedule content or come up with promotion strategies. Each smaller piece gives AI a chance to play a role, and together they stack into a powerful outcome. Before jumping into experimentation, I'll throw in a little twist that surprises many people. I ask you to imagine your ideal human collaborator, your dream partner for the challenge. Don't think of code, think of a person. What knowledge would they have? How would they complement your strengths or cover your blind spots? What unique perspectives would they bring? This exercise is not silly. It forces you to raise your expectations of what software could do for you. When you imagine your perfect cognitive partner, you set the bar higher, and ironically, you unlock new ways to use AI as a stand-in. Once you've defined your AI challenge, it's time to experiment. This is where the real fun and sometimes frustration happens. There isn't one single magic prompt that cracks the code for everyone. Each person's needs are unique, so discovery takes patience and iteration. The key is to protect some time where you can just tinker with intention. Write down your central AI challenge, stick it to your monitor, and keep experimenting until something clicks. A few guidelines make this easier. Try different tools. Don't stick to just one chatbot. Some are better tuned for certain types of problems than others. Explore domain-specific tools if they exist in your field. But always test with one or two general-purpose frontier models as well. Search online examples of how others tackled similar challenges. Lean on AI itself. Ask it to help brainstorm your next moves, to reframe your challenge, even to write prompts for you. And don't be afraid to spend a little. Free versions will get you started, but paying the price of a coffee or two can unlock far more capability. One important mindset to carry: persistence. Think about AI as a new team member on the job. The first few days or weeks are a mix of awkwardness, curiosity, and learning what they're capable of. Sometimes they nail it, sometimes they drop the ball. But if you stick with it, you eventually find the groove where you work well together. AI is exactly like that. Now, fair warning, AI has what we call a jagged frontier. These are areas where it's shockingly good and others where it falls flat. And predicting which side of that line task falls on, nearly impossible without trying. That's why experimenting across different slices of your challenge is essential. Maybe it doesn't ace your entire vlog plan, but maybe it absolutely nails content brainstorming or promotion strategies or brand naming. Trial and error is your friend here, and when you stumble into a breakthrough, you'll know. The test of whether you've truly aligned AI to your needs is simple. If someone suddenly took the AI use case away, would you fight to get it back? If the answer is yes, congratulations, you've got your first win. When that happens, pause and reflect. Ask yourself what sparked that success and what lessons you can carry into future experiments. Are there ethical considerations? Could what you discovered help others? And most importantly, document it. Save the prompts that work. Preserve your conversations. Build a library you can come back to. This breakthrough isn't just a one-off. It's the foundation for much more. And that's where we'll head next. Once you've aligned and found the first indispensable use case, the next natural question is, how do I leverage this and go even further? And that's what the next chapter is all about. Chapter 15, Step 3, Amplify Beyond the Breakthrough. So here's the truth. That first AI breakthrough you had, that's not the finish line. It's actually the starting block. This chapter is all about taking that single spark of success and turning it into a steadily growing fire, something that fuels your work and life day after day. I call this step Amplify, and it really comes down to two things: expanding your success and integrating AI into your daily rhythm. Let's start with expanding success. The first piece is about refining your collaboration with AI. Think of it like tinkering with a favorite recipe in the kitchen. You never stop adjusting the seasoning. The same applies to prompts. Whatever prompt or setup got you to your first breakthrough, don't treat it as done. Keep experimenting. Ask AI to help refine your own prompts. Sometimes it's as simple as saying, here's what I asked and here's what I got. Here's how I wish it were better. Can you help me improve this? The tools themselves are evolving constantly, which means what works today could flop tomorrow and vice versa. So revisit, refine, and retest. Then there's the matter of data. AI runs on data. Why not enrich what it's working with? If you want it to draft social posts in your voice, feed it samples of your writing. If you want customer service scripts, hand it FAQs, product manuals, and notes from beta testers. Planting a garden? Give it soil tests, sunlight data, even pictures of your yard. The more thoughtful you are with context, the better the support you'll get. Now, we're not talking about flooding it with everything. Too much data can make it stumble. So break things into smaller tasks when it gets confused. And remember, keep your private or sensitive data locked away. Don't paste anything you wouldn't want out of your control into a public chatbot. Finally, stay proactive with retesting. Today's best tool can easily fall behind tomorrow's update. Try your AI challenges across platforms and model releases regularly. It's like upgrading your gear to match the latest game. From there, let's move to streamlining, making your success easy to repeat. This is where you save your best prompts, organize your work, and create what I call reusable AI briefs. I often capture everything in Notion, but honestly, even a Google Doc works. Teams are starting to use prompt management platforms for this very reason, so that collective learning isn't lost in a mess of screenshots and sticky notes. Some AI tools even offer memory, allowing you to pick up a conversation where you left off or nudge it back to the moment it was working best. And don't overlook automation. Tools like ChatGPT let you spin up a custom bot tailored to your needs without writing a line of code. It just takes some clear instructions. Anthropic's Claude has projects that do something similar. Even simple shorthand tricks like creating your own code word for respond to this particular tone can shave time and keep things consistent. Then, of course, sophisticated workflows exist too. Connect your AI to a task manager or messaging app so outputs automatically kick off actions. The key here is saving yourself the grunt work. Once you've refined and streamlined, it's time to repeat for new discoveries. Go back to step 2, align, and run the process again on new needs. Before long, you'll build a portfolio of breakthroughs. And don't overlook the inspiration pipeline. Others are sharing their discoveries online, even publishing their custom GPTs in OpenAI's store. Think of it as a global idea factory you can peek into any time. That's expansion. Now let's talk about integration, weaving AI into your life until it becomes second nature. This starts with forming an AI habit, and here I borrow from James Clear's Atomic Habits and his 2-minute rule. The idea is start tiny. Don't wait for a free afternoon to finally dive into AI. That time rarely comes. Instead, give yourself 2 minutes a day. One question, one quick prompt, one experiment. Keep it up for a month, and suddenly, turning to AI feels as natural as checking your phone. Next, bring AI into your daily routine deliberately. A few ways to do this. The daily question. Each morning ask, how can AI help me today? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But the ask itself opens up possibilities. The AI bake-off. This is one of my favorite. Pick 2 or 3 tools, and whenever you hit a snag, say writing a tricky email or brainstorming ideas, throw the same prompt into all of them. Compare the results. You'll quickly see which tool is best for what, and you'll stay tuned to how they're evolving. Companies are doing bake-offs now too, pitting models against each other so they can decide which tool to use where. The open invite, bring AI into your brainstorms. I'll often set it running on a side screen during a group session. It's like having an extra participant tossing in ideas, some brilliant, some wacky, some just thought-provoking. Most won't be perfect, but sometimes that one oddball idea sparks the whole group. And finally, immerse yourself in the wider AI space, what I call tapping into the AI pulse. You don't need to spend hours on it daily, but carving out a little weekly time to check new tools, skim thoughtful resources, or try something fresh keeps you connected to the pace of change. The field moves fast, so staying plugged in is key. So here's the big picture. Amplify is about compounding your growth. Expand your success by refining, streamlining, and repeating. Integrate AI into your habits so it's always there when you need it. On their own, these steps are powerful. Together, they transform AI from a one-time helper into a consistent partner in creativity, performance, and innovation. And that completes the A3 framework: activate, align, amplify. With these 3 steps, you're not just testing AI, you're building a relationship with it. And once you reach that AI-boosted zone, your instincts start to change. You don't try to remember AI, it's simply part of how you think, work, and create. In the next chapter, we'll pick up with something bigger: how to take what you've learned on your personal journey and raise the AIQ of a team. Chapter 16, Enhancing Team Performance by Thinking with AI. So far, we've been focused on your personal journey with AI, how you can activate, align, and amplify. But now we zoom out, look at what happens when an entire team starts learning to think with AI. This chapter is about shifting from the individual to the collective, because when a group embraces AI together, something powerful happens. You don't just get smarter outputs, you actually build what I like to call collective intelligence. Let's start with the reality many organizations are facing now. Some companies are sprinting to figure out how AI can make their products more appealing to customers. Others are re-engineering entire workflows to offload routine tasks to AI. But the piece I want to highlight here is different. Any team in any department can begin pulling AI dynamically into their daily work to boost creativity and performance. Of course, before we get to the fun part, it's important to acknowledge the serious side: privacy, security, compliance, and governance and bias. These are massive topics that require guidance from the folks in charge of responsible AI at your company. So what we're covering here is more of an introduction to how teams can start experimenting and collaborating with AI rather than a thesis on AI ethics. Still, keep that coordination and oversight in mind. It's not negotiable. Now imagine what happens when your team begins treating AI as a thought partner. You don't just learn its capabilities, you learn how to spot opportunities faster, flag pitfalls before they trip you up, and deepen your approach to innovation. Think of AI as a collective amplifier. You plug the team in, and everyone gets a boost. So how can AI serve teams, practically speaking? I'll walk you through 6 roles I've seen it play. The brainstorm buddy. Picture your team in a brainstorm, whiteboards and sticky notes everywhere. Instead of waiting for someone to have a stroke of genius, you've got AI on a side screen. Before the session, it's analyzed data and lined up key questions. During the session, it chimes in with creative twists or angles nobody had considered. Maybe it even transforms messy whiteboard notes into polished infographics. It's not replacing your ideas, it's kicking the door open to more possibilities. The Ops Optimizer. Every team has repeatable tasks that drain energy, turning meeting notes into action steps, preparing quarterly update slides, drafting project briefs, or checking marketing copy against compliance standards. I've seen teams codify their best practices into an AI tool, so it becomes a ready-to-go assistant that gets things moving faster and more consistently. The humans stay focused on higher-level thinking while the AI keeps the trains running on time. The strategy aid. This is where AI helps at the big picture level. Say your team needs a SWOT analysis or a crisis management plan draft. Maybe you're shaping brand positioning, exploring new product ideas, or digging through market data. And AI can help you look at multiple scenarios, run simulations, or stress test your thinking. Used well, it widens your lens and accelerates your path to stronger decisions. The viewpoint expander. Every team has blind spots, and sometimes ego makes it tricky to accept another teammate's critique. AI can act as a neutral third party, reviewing work for missing points or evaluating a plan from, say, a customer or regulator's point of view. Because AI isn't perceived as carrying an agenda, people often find it easier to accept its feedback. I've seen teams accept this as a default final filter before anything is released. Let's run it through AI to see what holes it spots. The skill filler. Short on expertise, AI can rent you skills on demand. Need language translation, data visualization, image creation, or SEO optimization? Instead of scrambling to bring in a specialist every time, AI can help your team move forward faster. Maybe it won't deliver the final polish every time, but it can definitely get you to 70 or 80% of the way there. And the talent multiplier. When each person on your team learns how to effectively partner with AI, the entire group is elevated. One team member uses AI to brainstorm fresher ideas. Another uses it to untangle a complex analysis, while another leans on it for routine drafting support. AI magnifies what each person already does well, and together the team's performance leaps forward. Those 6 uses, Brainstorm Buddy, Ops Optimizer, Strategy Aid, Viewpoint Expander, Skill Filler, and Talent Multiplier, can reshape what's possible for any group of people working together. And building on that, many organizations are now creating their own custom bots or agents. Think of a chatbot that combs through call transcripts to surface customer pain points, or a documentation specialist that translates jargon-heavy manuals into plain language for users. I've even seen an empathy engine bot that adopts customer personas to stress test marketing messages. The point is, you don't need to be a coder for this. Tools like OpenAI's GPT or Claude's projects make it easier to spin up custom setups tailored to your team's needs. Of course, building team AI muscle doesn't just happen overnight. I've designed what I call a team learning journey, a pathway organizations can take to turn curiosity into capability. Here are a few highlights. Start before you feel ready. Delaying means missed opportunities, and chances are people on your team are already experimenting with shadow AI quietly on their own. Better to get ahead, encourage transparency, and learn together. Focus your exploration with questions. Keep drilling down. Why does this matter? Why is this challenge worth solving? Those repeated whys reveal the layers that lead to real insights. Adapt the align step for teams. Instead of one person choosing a challenge, have pairs or small groups pick challenges, share discoveries, and cross-pollinate ideas across the team. Design feedback loops. Make retrospectives, debriefs, and continuous improvement a normal part of how you experiment. Pull grassroots ideas forward and surface concerns early. Make it a team sport. Host curiosity cafes, no-code hackathons, swap sessions, even gamified AI challenge leagues. You'll be surprised how energizing it becomes when learning is social and a little playful. Model success with stories. Share stories of experiments and wins. Stories stick with people far deeper than abstract principles, and they help build momentum. Keep a pulse. Hold regular checkpoints to track progress, reframe questions, and make sure practices are responsible and ethical. Now a quick but essential caution. Studies have shown that if a team doesn't understand when to use AI and when to rely on human judgment, they can actually underperform compared to teams that don't use AI at all. So training a team to know when not to use AI is just as important as where to use it. The best teams I've seen know when to lean into human cognition and when to invite AI into the mix. And when it comes to the enterprise level, slow down. Don't fall for the pressure to be first to market with an AI solution. The space is too volatile, and rushing often leads to embarrassing failures. Instead, focus on learning speed, not launch speed. Build your AI muscle first. Learn, adapt, and mature your practices so you can make even smarter moves when you're ready to build products or services that go public. And the big takeaway is this. Every team, no matter its size or experience with AI, can start small but think big. Each insight AI helps surface, that's all progress. Over time, these small steps grow your team's AI queue and prepare you not just for today's tools, but for whatever remarkable developments tomorrow brings. Afterward. Every so often, a technology comes along that doesn't just add convenience, it changes the trajectory of human history. Think of the printing press giving knowledge to the masses, the steam engine fueling the Industrial Revolution, electricity reshaping daily life, and the internet connecting the globe. AI now joins this list. Except this one feels different, not only because of the scale of its power, but also because of the staggering speed at which it's advancing. Progress is happening not in decades, but in months. Like every powerful tool before it, AI reflects the hand that holds it. A surgeon's blade heals or harms. An author's pen can spread truth or confusion. The internet became humanity's greatest library, but also its most prolific source of misinformation, and AI is already following that familiar pattern. It's accelerating medical breakthroughs while turbocharging fraud, helping teachers create personalized learning while also cranking out harmful content at scale, expanding creativity while at the same time threatening existing jobs. This duality is baked into human innovation. Every time we release new technology, it becomes a mirror, amplifying both our best and our worst instincts. What's unique about AI is the sheer magnitude of its possibilities and the breathtaking pace of adoption. But here's the hopeful part. While we can't control every aspect of AI's development, we can control how we engage with it. We get to decide whether we apply it to ends that matter. That's why I've dedicated this work to helping people understand how to make AI serve them in ways that amplify positive impact. Whether you're a teacher, a leader, a parent, entrepreneur, student, the better you learn to harness AI, the more you can contribute to the spaces where you already make a difference. One of the reasons I wrote this book is because I've seen a new kind of digital divide forming. Yes, AI is technically available to everyone with an internet connection, but the skills required to use it effectively are not evenly distributed. If only the people and organizations who already have big advantages master this tech quickly, then all the benefits will tilt in their favor. My goal is to lower those barriers, make the learning journey accessible, so that people everywhere can use these tools to power progress in every community. Now let's be honest, the road ahead won't be simple. We'll wrestle with tough questions of ethics, equity, accountability, and control. There will be missteps. Some applications will make us uncomfortable, and some debates will get messy. But here's where I'm optimistic. The more of us who understand this technology really engage with it and learn to use it thoughtfully, the stronger our collective hand will be in shaping AI into a force for human flourishing, not just unchecked disruption. If you found value in this journey, I hope you'll pass it on. Share it with colleagues, friends, or family who can use it to amplify their own unique contributions. Join the global community of practitioners who are working together to figure out not just how to use AI effectively, but how to use it responsibly. Bring your perspective, your wisdom, your creativity, because the story of AI isn't being written by a handful of tech companies. It's being written by millions of people making millions of choices every single day. Your choices matter more than you might realize. If you'd like to keep the conversation going, I invite you to connect through thinkwithai.org or follow me on LinkedIn. That's why I keep sharing new insights as AI evolves, helping us sharpen our use of these tools. We stand at the very beginning of a new chapter in human capability. It's exhilarating, sobering, and wide open. I believe with clear eyes and determined hearts, we can learn to think with these machines in ways that extend, not diminish, our human strengths. And if we do, we'll open doors to problem-solving, creativity, and progress we've barely even imagined. Let's write this next chapter together. So we reached the end of the book. That's where we'll leave it. This has been part 2 of How to Think with AI by Alison McCauley. Alison provides more information on her website, thinkwithai.org. And please remember, this is one of the many podcasts you can find on InnoGuidePodcast.com and on your favorite podcast players. Remember that our website is InnoGuide.net, where we have many resources for innovators, people building products, and learning AI. I want to thank Steve McIntyre for producing this. I want to thank you for joining. That's a wrap. I look forward to seeing you next time.